Have you ever wondered why we still don't have an official announcement for Barbie 2 after the first movie became one of the biggest box office successes in Hollywood history? Well, the answer may have nothing to do with the story and everything to do with money. Before we dive in, if you enjoy entertainment news, movie analysis, and honest opinions backed by verified reports, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. The latest reports suggest that Barbie 2 is finally gaining momentum behind the scenes. According to recent reporting, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach have already come up with an idea for a sequel, and Gerwig is reportedly prepared to begin writing once the business side is settled. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Gerwig are all said to be in discussions about returning, but there's one major obstacle standing in the way. That obstacle is Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav. Reports indicate that negotiations have become difficult because the creative team is asking for significantly better financial terms after the massive success of the first film. Zaslav reportedly considers those demands too generous, and the studio has yet to agree to the compensation package being requested. Now, to understand why this is such a big deal, we have to remember just how enormous Barbie was. Released in July 2023, Barbie wasn't just another successful movie. It became a global cultural phenomenon. Directed by Greta Gerwig and starring Margot Robbie alongside Ryan Gosling, the film earned approximately $1.45 billion worldwide, making it Warner Bros.' highest-grossing film in years and the highest-grossing movie ever directed solely by a woman. It also generated billions more through merchandise, licensing, soundtrack sales, and promotional partnerships. So from the perspective of Gerwig, Robbie, Gosling, and producer Lucky Chap Entertainment, the argument is probably very straightforward. We helped create one of the biggest movies of the decade. We deserve to share more in the success. Honestly, that's difficult to argue against. When the first movie was made, nobody, not even Warner Bros., could have predicted that Barbie would become such a cultural event. Because of that uncertainty, the original contracts reportedly did not lock the main creative team into future sequels. That decision is now giving them tremendous leverage in negotiations. According to the latest reporting, Gerwig and Baumbach even have a sequel concept, but they are reportedly keeping the details private until a deal is reached. That's an unusually strong negotiating position, because Warner Bros. Has to decide whether to invest without knowing the full story. From a business standpoint, that's fascinating. Imagine owning one of Hollywood's biggest franchises, but not knowing exactly what the next chapter looks like because the writers haven't officially signed on. That's exactly where Warner Bros. Appears to be. Another important factor is timing. Warner Bros. Reportedly has a limited window to secure the sequel rights before certain rights arrangements with Mattel become more complicated, increasing the pressure on everyone involved to reach an agreement. Now, let's talk about David Zaslav's position. Since becoming CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, Zaslav has developed a reputation for being extremely focused on costs. We've seen him cancel completed projects, reduce spending across the company, and prioritize financial discipline after the Warner Media and Discovery merger. So if reports say he believed the requested compensation package is too generous, that actually fits his broader management style. From his perspective, approving massive pay increases could create a precedent for future franchise negotiations. If one creative team receives an exceptionally lucrative deal, other major filmmakers may expect similar treatment. That's a real business concern. But here's where I think Warner Bros. Needs to be careful. Sometimes being too focused on saving money ends up costing much more in the long run. Greta Gerwig wasn't just a director. She helped redefine what audiences thought a movie based on a toy brand could be. She transformed Barbie from what many expected to be a simple comedy into a film that mixed satire, emotion, social commentary, and blockbuster entertainment. Margot Robbie wasn't just a lead actress. She was also a producer who championed the project from the beginning and reportedly helped convince Warner Bros. To move forward with the film years before its release. Ryan Gosling turned Ken into one of the most talked-about movie characters of the year. His performance became a viral phenomenon, earned awards recognition, and helped fuel countless internet memes. These weren't easily replaceable contributors. They're arguably the biggest reason audiences connected with the movie. If Warner Bros. Tries to save money by losing any of these key players, the sequel could lose much of what made the original special. Hollywood history is filled with sequels that look good on paper, but fail because the creative chemistry disappeared. That chemistry is incredibly difficult to recreate. Another interesting part of this story is Greta Gerwig herself. After Barbie, she's become one of the most sought-after directors in the world. She's also working on Netflix's ambitious adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia, meaning her schedule is already packed. Warner Brothers can't simply assume she'll wait forever. If negotiations drag on too long, scheduling could become another obstacle. That's why I believe time is just as important as money here. The longer both sides wait, the harder coordinating everyone's availability becomes. Now, let's address a question many fans are asking. Does this mean Barbie 2 is officially happening? Not yet. There's still no official production announcement. There's no release date. There's no confirmed script. And there's certainly no confirmed filming schedule. What we do know is that credible reports indicate discussions are active, negotiations are continuing, and Gerwig reportedly has an idea she's willing to develop once agreements are finalized. That's encouraging, but it's still one step away from becoming reality. Personally, I think Warner Brothers should find a compromise. Yes, studios need financial discipline. No company wants to overpay. But there's also a simple reality in Hollywood. Exceptional talent usually isn't cheap, and sometimes paying more upfront protects a much bigger investment. The first Barbie generated extraordinary revenue and became one of Warner Brothers' defining modern successes. If paying Gerwig, Robbie, and Gosling more significantly increases the chances of another billion-dollar hit, that could actually be the smarter financial decision. The cost of replacing them or making a sequel fans don't fully embrace could be far greater. At the same time, I also understand why negotiations aren't easy. Every dollar committed to one blockbuster affects future projects, talent deals, and shareholder expectations. This isn't simply about three stars asking for more money. It's about determining how Hollywood values creative success after a record-breaking film. Whatever happens next could influence future negotiations across the industry. One thing is certain, audience interest hasn't disappeared. Years after its release, people are still talking about Barbie, still buying merchandise, and still asking when Barbie and Ken will return. That kind of cultural staying power is incredibly rare. If Warner Brothers and the creative team can bridge this financial gap, there's every reason to believe Barbie 2 could become one of the biggest movie events of the next few years. But until the contract is signed, fans may have to remain patient. Sometimes the biggest challenge in making a sequel isn't finding the perfect story. It's agreeing on the value of the people who made the first one unforgettable. So what do you think? Should Warner Brothers meet Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, and Ryan Gosling's financial demands? Or is David Zaslav right to protect the studio's budget? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.